I'm Kaylin Jackson, the founder and creator of Bridge the Podcast, a culture for the collective. So here's an outline of what we'll be discussing today. We will go through the background, why I created Bridge, and what led me here, my core objectives, our competitors, which are also kind of my inspiration, our proposed impact, our target market, our business plan roughly, where you can find us today, and what's next for us. So why Bridge? Well, growing up as a Black queer kid and now a Black queer woman of a low economic background, I always struggled to find media and community that supported my many intersectionalities. In addition to the ones that I've already listed, I love plants, I love to cook, I'm a bit of a nerd for graphic design and digital media, I'm really interested into coding, I love nature, and though all of those things have their own groups and markets, I really wanted a community that felt like me, that encompassed all of that and allowed me the room to grow. So with that, I created Bridge. Our key concepts are culture, storytelling, and enlightenment. So what are we about? Here at Bridge, our goal is to explore food, music, and experiences of various cultures, serve as an open and safe space for people of marginalized and intersectional communities to exist fully as their whole selves, share their stories, and most importantly, share their passions. We also hope to elevate the collective and discovering personal development and discussing the human experiences as a whole with the goal of learning and growing as a collective. In the creation of Bridge, I drew a lot of my inspiration from Red Table Talk. In addition to being obsessed with the Smiths, I really love how they made celebrities feel a little bit more human, made me feel less alone in a lot of the human experiences that I was feeling, and I always left knowing more than I came in with. And so that's something that I hope to replicate. The difference is I hope to address obviously a much younger market, with Red Table Talk being on Facebook. The 16, 17, 18, and 20-year-olds are kind of leaning away from that. And that's an audience that I definitely want to help, especially as that time period in life, especially in my life, is so turbulent. I'm learning so much and going through so much, and it sucks to do it alone. So I want to lend a helping hand. Similarly, I grew up on BuzzFeed. Some of my favorite channels from there are Ladylike. I don't know if they're still doing it, and because of that, they've probably kind of fallen off of the top sector of the market, which leaves it wide open for a company like us, Bridge. Obviously, TikTok is accessible. It targets a wide variety of identities through its tailored algorithm, but I wanted to offer something a little bit more personal than just scrolling. What sets us apart here at Bridge is our focus on highlighting diversity and inclusivity amongst marginalized community. Representation is not neutral, it's actually a superpower. So though there are many podcasts talking about culture and pop culture and its effects on us as a collective, none does it quite like Bridge. We strive to center inclusivity and diversity at every part of our production. We strive to elevate the voices and experiences of the overlooked and unheard to thrive as a collective. At Bridge, our motto is to dismantle imposter syndrome one episode at a time. This is something that has been affecting me personally, and it's something that I never thought would. I've always been a confident individual, very goal-oriented and future-focused, so I've been kind of stunned when navigating some of these spaces as a young adult in corporate America. I know that this is a common theme amongst people in their 20s, and so we created Bridge as a helping hand to navigate some of those spaces and these confusing and truly hard experiences. With this, I'd like to share a quote, one of my favorite quotes actually, by Kerry Washington. Because having your story told as a woman, as a person of color, as a lesbian, as a trans person, or as any member of any disenfranchised community is sadly often still a radical idea. There is so much power in storytelling, and there is enormous power in inclusive storytelling and inclusive representations. With this, we strive to have a rather broad target market. Our general target is young people, ages 16 to 30, non gender specific, but focusing on Black and Indigenous people of color and the LGBTQ community with a creative, single lifestyle in the low to middle economic status, also living in city or suburban areas. So, people like you and I. So, what's our plan? Our concept is a podcast with two recurring hosts, one being myself, and releasing weekly episodes. Some of our popular segments are listener stories, where we have listeners email in their experiences based on a specific topic we ask them about, and we read them back to them. Guest speakers, where we get to know artists, content creators, and influencers, allowing them to promote their content, share their culture, and their passions. My favorite, Soul Checkups, where we explore various topics of personal development and mental emotional health, and Culture Corner, where we share and discuss music, food, art, and various global cultures and communities. Our financial backing is primarily through ad support, where corporations pay to advertise during our episodes, and through live shows where we go on tour and speak to communities just like you. We're available on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Audible. And hopefully, coming soon, much more. So, what's next? We hope to be a podcast going on conglomerate. Starting as a podcast, but in 3 to 5 years, Bridge hopes to branch out into a podcasting and eventually multimedia network. Our goal is to give other passionate people like you and I the platform and resources to impact communities and feel seen themselves. We are Bridge the Podcast. Thanks for watching.